welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Board here on a Wednesday. It's Barnes, it's Tony, it's Zach.
That's right.
And it's another day recapping not one, but two New York wins. And in order of sequence, like Tony would do, the Yankees and the Mets win.
I would go alphabetical.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't make it. I didn't make the names. All right, dude. Alphabetical is just how it is. It's okay, dude. But yes, dude, I can't believe it. Honestly, I feel like we haven't had these many New York wins like ever, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good time. And you, by listening to DNR this morning, the watered down version with Dan Grassa, and you would not know that was going on. You would just think the Mets are the team of destiny and the Yankees have problems left and right, according to Dan Grassa, who's become very concerned with Garrett Cole's stomach virus.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't on top of that, the stomach virus. I just thought, because I know initially they scratched him and they just said extra days rest. I didn't realize he had a stomach virus or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know what were they saying leading up to your phone call that kind of got you riled up? Like what just that?
No, and I touched on all those points. And just to give a little background here, and by the way, shout out to my parents. They're currently I think they're in the airport waiting for their flight at Tweed, heading to Myrtle Beach for the rest of the week. So
wow, that's gorgeous.
Hope they have a great flight, great time down there. They had me send the link before the show. So just to give them a little background.
Yes, of course.
There's the show, and we've been to the ESPN New York at 98.7 tailgates and different events where we've met some of the hosts, and there's one host who ducks everybody, never goes to one of the events.
He was at the softball game though, I think.
Yeah, softball game, but you know what I mean, Tony, that I feel like of all the events, we know the Beach Bash is a pinnacle. He's never there. As always. Anyway, so he's filling in for one of the other hosts, and I called in another time, and he really just is the epitome of sour Mets fans who look at for anything they can come up with negative for the Yankees. And what he was saying, I mean, it didn't make sense. He said because of Garrett Cole's stomach virus that you can't count on him for the rest of the season. And I mentioned that. He didn't want to answer that, got a little testy. And then he's saying, just going by math, here we are, tomorrow is August 1st. He's telling me you could rule out the possibility of the Yankees making it to the World Series. So we could rule that out. Here we are, it's July 31st. Dan Grassa is ruling that out. So I just feel like everything it was saying, it wasn't backed up, and you wouldn't have thought the Yankees won a game where at a moment's notice, their best pitcher scratched from the start. You call up Will Warren making his major league debut. You're down 4-1, and you come back multiple times and win 12 innings. Listening to the show today, you would have thought they got shut out and that they had lost 5 games in a row. I mean, it really was an embarrassment of radio this morning, and I don't know how you could spin it any other way. I mean, you heard the call. I mean, it just didn't seem like Dan really had answers for what he was saying. He seems to float around answering those questions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Rick came in, you guys are talking about it. I think they did kind of cut you off a little quick. I think there was definitely some time.
I said I was talking for 2 minutes. I was talking for 20 seconds, and then he couldn't handle it because it wasn't something good about the Mets, but that's a different story.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Rick just came in here and tried to maybe, I don't know. Maybe
diffuse the situation.
A little bit, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think, I mean, obviously, Like there's no guarantee of anything. I know the Yankees are playing great baseball, their best baseball in the past couple months right now, playing very well against one of the better teams in the entire league, being the Philadelphia Phillies. So you obviously got to give them some credit here. Obviously what you were saying was relevant, bringing in Jazz, the bats are getting hot. They've been scoring a lot of runs lately. But I don't know. I think maybe Grasa has a little bit of a
Mets fanitis?
Maybe. Obviously Garrett Cole got popped against the Mets. I think it was he got through maybe like 5 innings, I think, at like 4 earned runs, something like that.
Oh yeah, didn't have a good start, but he hasn't made that many starts yet.
No, yeah, I know. I don't know. I think Garrett Cole, for me, I'm on the fence a little bit about him this year. I understand he had good back-to-back starts against Baltimore, against Tampa Bay, but then like we were saying, the Mets didn't do well. He got popped against the Red Sox as well. To say that he's not going to be your ace again, I think is ridiculous. Again, like he hasn't pitched a ton. He's been out for a majority of this year due to injury. Obviously, him being ill right now, not good in terms of him getting back into that that ace role. But I think he'll come around again. Like the talent is there. He's not washed. And to say that the Yankees are or are not going to win the World Series,
you don't know.
You don't know.
Nobody
exactly.
knows. So to just say something like that, he embarrassed himself.
Right. That team, the Yankees, like they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah.
At the very least, So like to say that they're not going to win the World Series is kind of crazy. If you don't think that, that's fine. There's a lot of competitive teams out there. But I don't know, man. It's tough. I think they could have, been a good conversation about this on the show today. But you know what? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
No, it doesn't matter what he says, but I think it's just a point to it. And then also too, ESPN New York, like, listen, obviously we have our hosts that we're fans of course, right. Rick and Dave, at the top of the list. But I feel like, it is time to get some more Yankee hosts in there. It is ridiculous. I feel like sometimes, like, especially Dan, like, loses track. Like, this isn't a Mets station. This is ESPN New York.
We can pump the brakes a little bit on that.
But I'm saying it should be equal features for both teams, not like painting some picture. No. But the way he does radio, he paints a picture of this poetic narrative with the Mets anytime they do well. And then with the Yankees, it's never positive. It's always negative. That is not being an impartial New York radio host. Like, he can spin it ever he wants. It's not.
No, yeah,
and he even admitted to that when I called in last. Literally did.
No, yeah, he does do that. But to say that the station as a whole needs more Yankee hosts, that's the only show with a Mets host.
Han?
Is he a Mets fan?
No, I think
I'm pretty sure he's a Yankees fan. Bart could give a fuck. Don LaGreca is a Mets fan.
Peter's not a Yankee fan. So we have 2 guys that are Yankee fans?
You have the Michael K Show, which is a Yankee program. It's a Yankee program. Bart doesn't know anything, but Alan Hahn still roots for the Yankees.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have Rick and Dave in the morning. So it's not like, come on now. All right. And even so, dude, the producers of Rick and Dave are both Yankee fans. So I think that they're fine with the Yankee Met fandom here. I think. What do you get the comments? We got some people in there.
Yes, we do, and we're gonna jump ahead here. Just to the bottom 2 here. So Josh B says Dave does it too, which is true, but I don't know. I just always had this sense with Dave. It's like he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't like just make things up like Dan. I think that's what just drives me crazy. Is Dave says what really is, and I feel like that's the difference. And
he's critical of the Mets, if anyone,
exactly, and realistic to that point as well.
Realistic.
And then also we have a comment here from the Downtime TV account saying, "Let's go." I think I know who this is. They say Dan sucks. Brian rocks. Not gonna lie though, if we didn't have Tony, we wouldn't have any Mets talk. LOL. What's your response there, Tony?
That's definitely a true statement. That's for sure. But I don't know. I think that to say that ESPN that they suck or Dan sucks. Dan's not great.
He's terrible. He really is. He does not deserve to be in that position.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe I just don't listen to him enough, even though like he's been on for so much.
Yeah.
Recently. I don't know. And I don't know. It's so tough.
You've always said like, oh my God. Grasa, like I can't.
It's just sometimes, it's just the tangents he goes on.
Yeah, he's an unfunny version of Babchick, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's a good call.
Yeah.
I have to listen to Grasso some, but I'm like again, like when I do listen to him, like again, when I tune in the morning, every time it's always the feud too, which I think they do the feud at a tough time.
Yeah.
But it's funny. But like I'm not getting sports talk out of Grasso at that time, you know. So I don't hear like you're saying he's making stuff up. Like I don't.
Well, just what I said, that you can't count on Cole because he's missing a start because of a stomach virus. And I know he's basing it off, Cole got rocked by the Mets twice, but it's like you don't win the World Series and have great playoff starts by winning the Subway Series. You win a championship by winning the World Series. And I think that's something that he loses sight of. And also my father, chiming in here says, hey guys, Yankees are back with the Jazz Man. And I have to say, I had an outstanding phone call with my parents on the way to the airport. We were doing a quick recap of the Yankee game last night and just how exciting it was to watch and what an impact, Jazz is making. Obviously making history, Tony, becoming the first Yankee to hit 4 home runs in his first 3 games with the team. So I think, that's obviously been working out as well as they could have hoped up to this point.
Great job, Leon, by the way, commenting in there.
Yeah. So no, nice to see the comments. What a better way to wait in the airport. I've done it before too, listening to this show. So,
it's great, dude.
It's great.
Passing really the time. And then, by the way, I'm looking at this post article for Garrett Cole here.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, again, this is my first time kind of reading into why he didn't start. But I don't know. It says here that Aaron Boone has noted that Cole has been battling a stomach bug. He's quoted here saying he's also not pitching today. We hope it's just fatigue. He says, you hope that it's just part of the process. Boone said before acknowledging the obvious. Cole's saying that he just feels a bit run down. Nothing really specific. I don't know. Do you think by any chance this is kind of like typical like Boone like nonsense, or you really think this is a stomach bug?
I mean, just think about it this way. I mean, fortunately, it doesn't happen to me too often. But when anybody's had the flu, a virus, I mean, you get run down from it. So, from what I can tell, obviously, I'm not that close to the situation,
right?
But it just seems like he kind of got pretty sick and is just recovering from it, and that's like a normal thing. Nobody said anything about an arm, an elbow, anything like that. So until we hear something like that, why are we going to think that? And he wasn't even saying that it was going to be some season ender. He's just saying you can't rely on him, which again doesn't make sense. And we have Matthew Ryan here. Oh, also, we had Michael saying that Dave always gives credit where credit is due. The Yankees, and it is realistic with the Mets. Love his takes. Very true. Matthew Ryan says Tony is a Yankee hater. Yankees are back to where they should be, dominating Phillies. Mets are forgotten about once again. Michael also saying that I don't know why that happened. I was on my account. LOL. Matthew saying good. Grasso can't handle Barnes. He knows he owns him. LOL. Love Jazz, Mr. Barnaby. Needed that energy from him that we were missing Barnaby. The last month and a half.
75 years.
Almost 78 years.
78, really?
Almost. We're on 77 dude. Going on 78. So
when's the anniversary? You know the date?
I think it's in April, honestly, actually. So we got a little time. We got a little time. But we're approaching. And then Matthew Ryan, Tony knows the truth.
Matthew Ryan, stop it, dude. Honestly,
and actually go back up to that because I know I skipped over maybe about 5 or 6 comments. If you want to just go from the top here.
78 years, baby.
So Matthew says, let's go. Barnes owned Grasso again this morning.
I really need, we should have Grasso call into the show.
He
honestly,
won't, though.
Dude. He come on.
He hides.
Let's give Grasso as much time as he wants and just have a conversation. Come on.
And then Matthew here also saying, love me some Jazz Chisholm. Josh B saying, my family, what is up? Yankees few, Clay stinks. Hashtag TCA, hashtag SportsPort, hashtag DTV. And then he also says Matty G, who says Josh Boy, Clay sucks.
Classic.
Big win for us. And then saying, Ben saying Clay ain't it. Your mother says, hi, fellas. And Matthew Ryan lastly says, Yankees won again. Mets still suck. Just reading the comment, Tony. I don't know what you're trying me to say.
Yeah, you have a big smile on your face when you're saying it. Even though the Mets won yesterday.
Yeah, but I just think, I mean, one other thing that I have to say that just absolutely irked me, and I know Tony, I'm not allowed to say things anymore. I mean,
No, go ahead.
Zach.
You're mid-sentence with me, but
Tell me I'm not right. I want both your guys' answers.
You want me to tell you you're not right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever
if you
want.
are not right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another thing Dan said, he was talking about the Twins and how the Mets beat the Twins, and he goes, "Oh yeah, with the Twins. I mean, when you see New York on the schedule, like you just basically have to assume a loss." No. The Yankees have dominated the Twins. The Mets have barely played the Twins. Don't group it together because you won 2 games against them. I feel like that is insane. There's no history with the Mets and Twins that's extensive to the extent of what the Yankees' history is since 2002, Tony. They've played over a full season, so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I mean, you can't really argue with that, I guess.
Right? I mean, why group
it?
But again, but you really don't see why.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yes, no, I do see that because that is kind of ridiculous to say when, again, I don't know the history between the Twins and the Mets, but like you said, it's not as extensive as what we have, with the Yankees because we've been talking about that this year. Their record in total against the Twins. So yeah, I think it's a little far out there for Grasser grasping at some straws here. And again, I mean, that guy, if he's listening right now, if anyone's listening, just call in. Numbers on the ticker. It's my cell phone number. Always there, dude. Always
absolutely
here.
Welcome the calls. That would be hilarious.
I mean, what's he doing right now? Probably nothing, right? I mean, it's
I would imagine
he doesn't do any other shows. He's not on 10:50 a.m. or anything.
No, he doesn't.
So let's go.
Yeah,
Dan Grasser, call in. Someone, Ronnie, text Dan. Tell him to call in. Let's go, dude.
No. He said he's gonna. If he remembers, next time he calls in, he's gonna mention it to him. That's what he said.
Ronnie
he was texting me this morning. So we'll see.
He'll remember. He'll definitely.
No, that will be hilarious if he does do that. That's for sure. So a little break from the baseball before we jump right back into it.
All right, buddy.
It's Wednesday. We always do our golf previews on Wednesday.
Dude.
And for this one, I am breaking my own rule. Talking about the Olympics here.
I can't believe it.
But it is the men's Olympic golf competition.
That's right.
Leg Golf National.
Mm-hmm.
Paris, France here. They've hosted a Ryder Cup in 2018 before.
French Open 2017.
In terms of the stats here, par 72, 73-31, course record being a 62. And it was actually established in 1990. So you have a lot of times, these courses that hold these tournaments, especially stuff in Europe. It just feels like a lot of that stuff has been established, been around. So this is, relatively a newer course at 34 years old. A lot of these courses are 100 years old, 200 years old, or even older than that, which is crazy to think about. So with this Olympic golf competition, very easy, very familiar format.
Thank God.
You have golfers obviously representing all different countries here. And I don't think each country has 4, but a lot of them do, including the U.S. I don't know if you have some background on that.
Yeah, I read that, the U.S. is one of the few countries that have 4. Oh, okay. Most countries have 2, actually.
2. Okay, because I just knew when they said the amount of golfers, it didn't add up to where it would each be.
Yeah, 4. I don't know. I believe the ranking, I guess they just took it from the world golf ranking, top 60 golfers.
There's like a points thing. I don't know if it was separate than the golf ranking or not. But if you look at this, I mean, it is. Okay, so no, it's not from the golf ranking because it's a federation or something. Yeah, just because of the country. So you have a golfer that's ranked 427, and obviously you have guys that are very high up here, including the top 7 and 8 of the top 10 golfers in the world. So the familiarity, even though I didn't still say it right.
It's the IGF, by the way, International Golf Federation.
Okay, International Golf Federation.
Their ranking. I don't know where that stands with you.
There's just like a points thing. I don't know what exactly it was. It says field size tournament pointers. But anyway, it's just an individual competition, and then just with the Olympic theme, top 3 will medal. Only difference being if there's a tie for second, if there's a tie for third, there will be a playoff to get a specific medal, which will be kind of exciting if we do get down to that. I believe last time we had the Olympic golf competition, Xander Schauffele actually did win.
He did.
So he's back in the field representing the U.S. along with Scotty Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, and Colin Morikawa. More ridiculous. I mean, I guess I know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. More ridiculous that Wyndham Clark is 5 or Colin Morikawa is 6 in the world, or Victor Hovland, given his recent play, is 7.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Hovland should not be 7, I feel.
Yeah. And Clark, 5. I mean, I
That's
think
crazy.
25, 35,
I mean,
45.
honestly, all of those really. Morikawa really probably shouldn't be 6 either.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe he's got.
He's been playing well recently. Yeah,
but still, I mean,
fair.
maybe he's been playing better than Clark, right? Like,
Yeah,
what the
probably
hell?
not. Probably not.
Mhm.
So, just find that kind of interesting. So obviously a lot of field firepower in the field. So you got Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Gobert, Wyndham Clark, Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, John Rahm coming off that tied for 7 at the Open, Hideki Matsuyama, who is actually 12th in the world. You don't really realize that. Tommy Fleetwood coming off that disappointing miscut at the Open, Tom Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, Matthew Pavone, Sepp Straka, Shane Lowry, Jason Day, Byung-Hung An, Minwoo Lee, and then a couple Canadians here in Corey Connors and Nick Taylor. Obviously different just in terms of it's a course. Yeah, we had a Ryder Cup there 6 years ago. We're not there often. It's interesting with the 60 men field and representing countries. So there is a lot of firepower here, but I mean, it's very tough to look at this and really come up, with the winner. But that's what we're going to attempt to do here, Tony.
That is correct, dude. I mean, that's like you said, that's what we're here to do. And you got to be pretty stoked, honestly, because I feel like that this level of play is going to be pretty high. Like you said, the playoffs for each spot. I believe last time in Tokyo too, there was like a 7-man playoff for third or something.
Oh, I think I did remember that,
which was pretty crazy, dude. So I think we're gonna see a lot of extensive competitive play here because, like you said, there's no tying, which is sick.
Yep.
And it's dope, dude. I mean, golf is a pretty interesting history with the Olympics too. It's only the 5th time it's been in the Olympics. I think 1900, 1904, and then it was
2016
in Rio is when it came back.
Janeiro,
yeah, and then of course Tokyo, obviously now as Paris. So pretty interesting, dude. And you would think golf with the history that it has, I mean, I feel like it would have been in the Olympics forever.
Yeah, yeah,
so
but
kind of interesting.
We've seen it. Stuff falls in and out of the cycle, baseball, like soccer. Over the years, there's been different stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's interesting. Rugby was the same deal too. But you think of like sports like rugby and baseball, where it's like long, grueling sports, kind of hard to do a tournament style.
Right.
Golf is kind of revolved around that. And I'm very happy they're doing like individual stroke play and not like a Ryder Cup format or anything with teams for each nation or something.
Yeah.
I'm down with the individual. I don't know how you feel about that, but I like how it's like just classic golf.
Yeah. No, I think it's great.
Crazy,
yeah,
dude.
we don't have to mix things up like this is live or something.
Yeah.
Jay looks like trying to ruffle the feathers of me a little bit, saying, yo, Olympics have been fun to watch this year. USA women's with their first medal in rugby.
Bronze, first time. Yep, pretty dope.
Yeah,
I know you don't care.
No,
but because you're un-American. But it's great. It is cool to see that. I think America is leading the medal count right now.
I mean, we usually win, right? Or no?
Yeah, we won in Tokyo. I know that. I think we may have lost in Rio, to be honest. I think China got the most medals. But regardless, I mean, you got to be stoked for some of these teams. And I don't know. I've been tuning in here and there. It is fun. But if I was Jay, I mean, you're a stone's throw from Frank. Let's go. Like, where are you, dude?
Dropping the ball.
Why aren't you in Paris? Oh my God, dude.
All of that.
Friendgate.
He says great for the sport.
It is great for the sport.
But yeah, I mean, if there's a compelling like game with the basketball team, I'll definitely watch. I believe first time, long time here, we have Kev Dew back in the building.
Oh yeah, dude.
He says, "Let's go. We want the smoke. Sorry, I've been working. I will be back soon. About time. Let's go Mets." And that it's interesting due to the 4-game winning streak. No chirp about the Yankees. So find that timing very interesting.
Well, I mean, how could you?
And then I think he likes that smooth jazz, honestly. And then I think Josh B. Come on, Tony. I think Josh B. says, "I think we have the most athletes," which is true. But yeah, like if the basketball is close, I'll watch it.
They're playing Sudan or something today.
And I see tee times starting at 3 a.m.
Oh, really?
For tomorrow for the golf. But I'm thinking because of this limited field size, I don't know if any of it will be able to watch. Let's see what we got here. So, well,
maybe I would.
We'll catch like the tail end of it. I guess because I mean it should be well over. It should be like a 5-hour round for golf.
You would think so, right?
Competition 640. So the last guys will finish. It should be so. There should be people on the course. From what I could tell. I mean, we'll see, but right.
Yeah, I guess we will see. It's interesting. I don't know. Like everything's on Peacock, right? You gotta like have Peacock to be streaming all the Olympic stuff.
This is Golf Channel.
It is Golf Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Is, part of the NBC
Obviously, NBC,
app and
yeah.
stuff. So.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to watch it.
Yeah, we'll be able to tune in.
Okay, sweet.
Jason, looking for work. Is Downtime hiring?
You know it, especially for you, Jay.
I mean, I thought he has a lifetime position already, right?
Obviously, it's not even a question, Jason.
Yeah.
By the way, he's back in the U.S. August 13th.
August 13th. Wow. And so I'll wait. Is he now?
He's gonna be in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jersey the whole time. Like he's not coming here.
I don't know, honestly.
How long is he here for?
I don't know.
Okay,
it may
sure
be
he'll tell us.
TBD. But I'm sure be willing to talk to us about it for sure.
It says let's go. And then Michael also says for Jay, he's been hired.
Yeah.
And he also says we will make it work, I think. So obviously Michael riled up, Jay riled up, and he says, message me.
It's so funny.
But
dude.
yeah, what I was getting at is because I'm gonna be on vacation. I'm starting on the 15th, so hopefully there's a window there before he gets here.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. If not, I mean, he's obviously welcome to come, help out in the sports port. Dude.
And it would be like basically a year after I was in California. I go to pull up the stream of this show, and there's someone sitting here in a Red Sox hat, and I almost lost my mind.
Wow, that's right, dude.
But then,
that was Riley's second day.
Yes, and then I was like, oh, okay. Well, at least this guy's pretty good. But
yeah,
take off the hat, please.
That's
please,
so
please.
funny.
And then we started putting I don't know if it was in the title or in the subtitles on the side.
Red Sox.
Something about the Red Sox. What?
Yeah.
What? We're not talking about that.
Hey man, listen, you're gone. You're not here. You gotta figure out something, dude. All right. That's so funny, dude.
Oh man, it's crazy that was a year ago. Just thinking that, almost a year.
Yeah, it's crazy. How far we've come.
Yeah, absolutely. So on to the golf here, Tony. What do you got for me? Who is hoisting the gold medal here?
Hoisting the gold medal, super tough. Obviously, I'm going American. And honestly, I'm just thinking. I mean, I don't want to take, picking the favorites or anything. But obviously, I mean, this is what we're gonna do here. It's either coming down to Xander or Scotty. And honestly, I could see a playoff between them two. I think it's going to be absolute electric. You're looking at Scotty. I mean, he's, all bought into the Olympics. He's got the attire, the Ralph Lauren, the polo, USA, the red, white, and blue. He's loving it, dude. And there's so many funny memes, from convict to Olympian, dude. But nonetheless, I mean, you can't discredit the way Xander's been playing recently. Obviously, we know about his playoff throughout the year, specifically winning, the Open Championship here, just, I guess, a week ago, a little more than a week ago now. Obviously, he won the PGA, multiple top 10 finishes. Wells Fargo came in second. If I was a betting man, which I am, he's the hotter golfer right now. I'm going to say Xander goes back-to-back. I don't know what the stats are on that in the Olympics, but I think it's going to be a playoff hole. Maybe quite a few here. And I want to say that at the end of the day, Xander wins. He birdies the whatever playoff hole. Let's say it goes 3 playoff holes. They all go par on it. The last one, Xander birdies, Scotty pars, Xander wins. I'm going to say with a 10 under. I don't know much about the history of this course either. Yeah. But I would imagine maybe a little bit, nothing. We're not going to see any 24 unders or anything like that. I'm going to go with a nice median 10 under here. And I just think that there's going to be some great level of golf. Definitely probably playoffs too, I'm sure, for
all the
other medals as well. The other playoff, because it's just so often when we get those ties, whatever. But I think everyone's going to be really chill, happy, relaxed, having a great time. Multiple maybe America even sweeps the podium. Who knows what Morikawa is going to do? But nonetheless, give me Xander, the back-to-back. Let's go, dude.
It's funny. So I was thinking to myself, well, you called me on an American. Maybe I should continue on that theme.
Oh,
and I almost switched it up, and I was like, you know what? That was my initial thought. I'm going to stick with it because you did mention Morikawa. Love the way he's playing. I would not be surprised if he at least gets a bronze here.
Yeah.
He's just been playing really good golf. But I'm going to go with Bear. I think he's highly disappointed.
Yep.
That he missed the cut at the Open, and I just think we know his talent. And he's so young. There's so much of his career left here. But I just think there's just a point where he's due to really just take off and start winning with some regularity. So this might be the start of it. So give me O'Bear, winning this. You know what I was thinking? I was originally going to say winner, sleeper. Let's medal out. What do you got for the silver here, Tony?
Okay, well, I got, obviously Scotty gets the silver at that point.
Right. Okay.
And I think I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go Morikawa at the bronze.
Oh wow!
So
So
America sweeps the podium, baby. All right, let's go.
Wow.
All of them singing the national anthem together.
All right. So I'm gonna say Morikawa wins silver, and then I'm gonna say the bronze is actually be John Rahm. He's still number 10 in the world. And obviously had some momentum with that top 7 finish at the Open. So let's continue it forward here. Do
you want to do a sleeper too?
Throw it in there. What do you got?
I was gonna take Byung-Hun An as my sleeper.
Hot start to the year has tapered,
but nonetheless, 32-year-old, first time in the Olympics. So obviously, I think he's gonna be riled for that. He has been a pretty solid golfer, 5 top 10 finishes this year. So I think he has the ability. It's there. Also, both of his parents medaled in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, Korea, in table tennis, I believe. So it's in his blood. He's my sleeper.
I'm gonna throw
I think
out
his
a
sister is playing too, women's golf.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw out a name. We haven't really talked about him much. He had a runner-up at the PGA a couple years ago, featured on Full Swing, goes to live, kind of irrelevant. Now it feels like Mito Pereira, Tony.
Oh, yeah?
And I just remembered Nick Faldo calling the PGA championship before he retired, and they did the thing on Full Swing, like showing the highlights, and he's like, "Oh, Mito! Oh my God!" You didn't probably get to that point.
No.
If you do watch it, you will crack up though. Oh my God! But in all seriousness, he's a great golfer.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we don't see him regularly on tour, and he obviously has trouble qualifying for majors, being that he's on live. Is a resolution around the corner? Who knows? But yeah, we'll get underway tomorrow, 3 a.m. Just one of those things. You hate that it's like that, but given the time difference, Tony, nothing you could really do about it, huh?
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do about it right now. You just gotta get there, dude.
So okay, yeah. So we will be good for some golf tomorrow because it says 3 to 12.
Beautiful, dude.
And I believe that's actually just every day. So Thursday to Sunday, 3 to 12. Golf Channel. I guess Sunday goes till 12:30, probably just for the medal ceremony. So yeah, I hope we get some good golf, and then it's on to Wyndham in Greensboro, North Carolina next week. Last event of the regular season.
Your parents gonna stick through the tournament and maybe take a little visit there?
No, they're coming back on Sunday. So gonna miss that one, unfortunately, Tony. But I think this will be cool, right? I mean, I feel like you're a little intrigued, kind of, even though you know the format, it's not really that different. You're kind of interested to see just what it looks like at the end of the day, right?
You're talking about the Olympics, or
the Olympic golf
dude,
competition.
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, again, it's dope that these players are now being able to represent their country. I know they kind of do it even so at the PGA, because obviously they talk about where they're from all the time, whatever. But this is a little bit different, it's the Olympics, and I just feel like it's something a little bit extra for some of these golfers. Like I was saying, they're going to come in, it's going to be a little lackadaisical, they're going to be having a good time, excited to be in France, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, these guys are competitors. They're going to want to have that gold medal on their mantle next to whatever other trophies they have from the PGA. So we're going to see some great golf.
And this is getting a little ahead, but I was just thinking about, international competition. So we do have the President's Cup, and I just went on the website here, 54 days till we are at the Royal Montreal Golf Club. Wow. Captain Jim Furyk himself and Captain Mike Weir, so the 2 former major champions. Rosters have not been assembled as of yet, but they do show like the point standings, which I think are entailed this year's PGA Tour events and then last year's majors. But right now, of course, who else would be in the top 6? Scotty, Xander, Colin, Wyndham, Sahith, and Patrick Cantlay. On the international side, which, keep in mind the difference between Ryder and Presidents. Ryder is Europe. President's Cup is everybody but Europe against the U.S. So that's how the competitions work. So you got Matsuyama, Sanjay Im, Tom Kim, Jason Day, Byung-Hun An, and Adam Scott.
Pretty solid.
But just, looking at that, you don't mean to call people out. And listen, these guys are all professional golfers, but I'm just saying a lot more top heavy on the other side here. No?
Yeah, no, undoubtedly. And That's tough, dude. It doesn't really juice me up at all.
I mean, your only major winners in that top, or I guess you got 3. Hideki, Jason Day, and Adam Scott.
Jason
I mean, it might be
Day, though.
interesting, but I do think, especially the way that they lost in Rome at the Ryder Cup, will be very embarrassing for the Americans if they lose this competition.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you bank on America winning?
I would be shocked if they don't, just based on that. But then again, the European roster was very limited last time out, with the Ryder Cup and everything, not having Rahm and all those guys, and they did win. But I would think, we're a little more motivated now after that loss.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of embarrassing a little.
And
bit.
Even so, I mean, you think of the 2 young guys, because Aubert and Hovland were both on that team, the European, and they did
with
well.
Justin Rose.
So I mean, that was like, it was a right time for them. We definitely, like, Hovland and Aubert are not, what we thought they were going to be from that tournament right now. So you never know. Let's go America.
Yeah, let's go America, and let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Skip. And Alonso cracks one in the middle to win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So the trade deadline has come and gone here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There were some moves yesterday, but I have to say, definitely less than a lot of people were anticipating. And you had a couple of teams that you felt like made a lot of moves, like the Orioles, like the Dodgers. But in terms of the locals, a little quiet. And it wasn't that much of a surprise to me. I have to say, kind of went the way I was expecting. I was talking about this yesterday and the day before, how, at deadline or an off season with the Yankees, you've just seen kind of a pattern here. You get the big guy. There's talk of other big names, big guys. And supposedly they did have a deal for Jack Flaherty, but pulled out over some concerns with his medicals regarding his back. But usually it's the smaller moves that follow. They get De Los Santos, the reliever from the Padres, and also Mark Leiter, who played a crucial role in last night's 12-inning win over the Phillies. So you couple those two things with the fact that Jazz, I mean, is really having an impact here. And I do think, and you could tell me I'm wrong. Yes, Tony, they didn't end up getting moved, but there was talk about like Crochet and Scubal.
Right.
I mean, I think those are big time pitchers. Those are things where you consider maybe, getting rid of a guy like Spencer Jones, but maybe not Jason Dominguez because, his return is imminent. But point being, there was kind of a mixed feel. It was funny. Brian Hoke last night on Twitter was like, oh, it seems like, when you look at Twitter, most people agree Yankees had a good deadline, but you have some fans complaining. They wanted a guy like Tanner Scott and a starting pitcher. But I don't know. After seeing what Jack Flaherty did last year when he was traded to Baltimore, pitching in our division with a 7 ERA, he's had injections on his back this year, free agent after the year. I think I'm okay with, even though his numbers are really good. I think that was the right move, not, overpaying for him or acquiring him when he's had back injuries this year. I just don't think the guys like that we wanted were available. So I kind of think, if I'm giving a grade here, and I'm kind of curious what you think, I think they get an A just because Jazz has made such an impact. Seems like it's changed the complexity of the lineup. Leiter's already paying dividends, and people don't know much about Leiter, but I mentioned this in my call to Dan. His last 7 1/3 innings with Chicago, 15 strikeouts. And Rocky started the season, has really settled down. The Yankees need relievers with strikeout stuff, and he displayed that last night. I mean, I think this measures up to be a really good deadline. Sure, would you have liked maybe Pete Fairbanks as well, or added Chad Green? But there are some guys rehabbing that I think will make an impact, like Ian Hamilton and Scott Efros. So I think all in all, pretty good deadline, and I prefer this than overpaying for a guy like Tanner Scott or Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, no, I would say so. Like you said, I think it was a good call in terms of not giving up, too much of your farm. We know Leiter's a little bit older, 33, whatever, but
it's only a rental.
It's only a rental. I mean, that's exactly what you have him. You have him for this year.
Yeah.
And he's obviously, we know about his family history. We know,
And you met his father or no? Not his father, but his uncle.
His uncle.
Yes.
At the network. Obviously,
you enjoyed him, right?
Oh,
Good
yeah,
guy?
of course. Great guy.
Yeah.
Pitching breakdowns.
Obviously, former Met.
Love that. Big fan. It was actually really cool that he did like something where they would like break down, like kids would submit videos of their pitching stuff, and you give them like pointers and stuff. Great guy.
Yeah.
But obviously, New Jersey native here, Mark. So, I mean, you got to love this. I mean, I think it's a great rental for this year. Like you said, he's paying dividends already. He's pitching well right now.
That's why
which is what you want. It's exactly why you want. You mentioned Hamilton rehabbing. I don't know. Who knows if we ever see Marinaccio again, dude.
Kind of actually, it's funny that you mentioned. Forgot he existed.
Yeah, right. And I feel like this was a guy that I was kind of hyped up for.
No, and I've liked him. He's been inconsistent, but I think he has the stuff.
But and I think if you kept him in there for a little bit, you trusted it instead of trying out Caleb Ferguson over and over again.
Who was traded to the Astros for international signing money,
which is ridiculous.
Dude. Great to get rid of him, but unfortunately, Trey Sweeney, the guy we gave up for him, that was for Victor Gonzalez, who's in our minor league system now. But he was used to acquire Jack Flaherty. But like I was saying, I don't think Flaherty is what he's hyped to be. I think the Dodgers will be disappointed with the dividends that trade pays, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think so too, dude.
But all in all, I mean, you're saying though, I mean, you're thinking.
What did you rate him, an A?
Oh, I guess actually I didn't give a grade. Or no, I did. I did say an A. I did say an A because I think Jazz was the best hitter you could acquire, honestly. And you needed it. That was the priority. The offense was stagnant despite, and I don't know if you realize this too, but I just looked it up, and obviously the last couple of nights helped. I mean, they lead the majors in runs scored despite having no offense for 2 months.
Yeah, they still have one of the better run differentials.
Yes, yes. So, but right. I mean, what was there a guy that was moved that you thought they should have gotten?
No, a batter.
Anybody?
No, I guess not. Yeah, I don't think there wasn't anything really crazy. I don't know. I would probably give them maybe like an A- or a B+ rating,
which is a solid grade.
Which is obviously still great. Obviously, getting Jazz is huge. Yeah, but I still would have liked to see them get a pitcher.
Starting
any pitcher, either or. Okay. Just because I don't know, man. I mean, I understand like your pitching is coming along, and I understand we just talked about Garrett Cole. He probably is going to be fine, but it still would have been nice to have just another pitcher in the staff, just to be a little bit more, I don't know, confident or calm about like the pitchers you're putting out there, whether it was bullpen or a starter, or even a guy that could go both ways for you, But no, regardless, I mean, I still think that they definitely they made good moves.
And you have Clark Schmidt also to welcome back as well, who pitched very well before he got hurt.
Yeah, but again, is he going to stay healthy?
But also, I would like just him as a multi-inning reliever.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It's great.
Yeah,
but again, like, is he going to come back and he's going to be in that mode? Is he going to stay healthy? Honestly, same thing with like Clay Holmes, in my opinion, too. It's just a little bit on the fence.
Yeah, and we'll get to Holmes. When we talk about last night's game. I see Marinaccio here has been pitching in AAA. He's healthy. He's doing well. So I don't quite understand that. Maybe he gets called up soon.
I would love that.
He does. It's crazy too. He's 29.
Wow.
So he kind of like debuted a little later. Because I'm looking at this. So Major League debut at 26. So kind of makes sense from that regard. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's like if Garrett Crochet went to the Orioles or something, then I'd be like, oh well, maybe we should have given up Spencer Jones for him. But those guys weren't out there, and I only want to give up valuable assets for guys that are good. All the prospects that the Orioles gave up to get Trevor Rogers from the Marlins, Tony, like the overpays were crazy yesterday. What the Astros gave up for Kikuchi, I know we talked about that yesterday.
Ridiculous.
But I just don't think like there were that many like great guys, and even too. The Padres going out and getting Tanner Scott. I mean, I understand he's doing great this year. I get that. But you look at his career, half of his career, his ERA has been over 4, even into the 5s. To give up a lot of guys for him, I'll keep my prospects at that point. Like, you know what I mean? I'm only making deals like this. If I'm getting like Mason Miller, I only want upper echelon. Otherwise, I'd rather just go with my system, honestly. Or get somebody on the lower side of things and, hope to kind of refine them a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, like you said, I mean, even it just seemed like a lot for Kikuchi. I'm looking at it right now, and it's just like
A 6-year right for 2 months?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if one of our teams acquired him, what they would be saying on the radio?
Oh my God, dude. And then like, what are you going to do with this guy, like moving forward too? Like,
Yeah.
Come on, man. And I think he struggled a little bit with some injuries too the past couple of years. Like, as you know, a lot of pitchers do whatever, but it's like, it's not even like he's been lights out for 2 seasons. Like it's not good. And again, coming from an organization like Toronto too, I mean, they're not exactly like killing it. You know, I understand like some of their offense is starting to wake up a little bit and they've had like okay pitching performances, but that organization has not done well with players. I mean, look at where all those players are trending, you know?
Right.
Like not upward necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know, man.
I was happy with it. I'm very excited. I feel a lot better. Coming from last weekend, it seems like, we've really turned a corner. It seems like too, like Jazz, like, again, we'll talk about the game, but just the energy, his drive. And I think it's like a career awakening for him going from Miami, being used to playing in front of, 7,000 fans a night to be in these packed crowds every night.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't even made his Yankee Stadium debut yet. And to make history in your first 3 games with an organization that's been around for over 100 years, you're the first guy to do it. Curly, you made an impact. So I'm so excited. I could not be more excited right now. Yes, there are some things that worked out. Clay Holmes would stand out as the biggest one. But I think we will figure that out. And listen, I will agree wholeheartedly. It's never a good strategy. Oh, we'll figure out the bullpen when the postseason gets there.
Not good.
You can't do that. But a couple of things here. 2 months left, so the pecking order will be determined. Wouldn't be surprised if Ian Hamilton comes back healthy and effective. Wouldn't be surprised if Clay continues to falter, if he gets a chance at it. Also, Tony, we've seen all types of things in the postseason, and I don't think other than, yes, you want to go through all the years the Yankees won with Mariano Rivera. Other than that, it's like, not many times like the team that has the best closer ends up winning the World Series. We've seen some crazy formulas, even way back in the day. Adam Wainwright closing games out for the Cardinals. Who did the Red Sox have that was a starter that ended up being their closer?
I know they used Eovaldi a couple times.
But there you go.
Yeah,
so I'm saying, listen, you would have liked to get a top closer, but it can be figured out. And I think, like I've said many times, the offense has not stepped up in the playoffs for the Yankees. And I think now finally, after all these years, they do have the pieces to have a chance to hit pretty well in the postseason. So that was my main focus. And I think that's addressed with Jazz. So let's go. I'm definitely excited about that. And before we get to your thoughts on the Mets here, a couple comments. Josh B saying, would have been happy with Kyle Finnegan, who's had a great year, having for fantasy. But it's imploded last couple of outings. And you look at track record there to give up a decent amount. I think I would be okay. If it was a lower level prospect trade, I would have done it, but wouldn't have, jumped out of my seat to do it. Matthew Gabriel says, that was wild to see Padres get Scott. Thought we'd get him, but like what we did, Jav obviously being the main thing and then some relief pitching. I like it. And I think we did what was necessary, which I agree with. And then Lonnie saying, let's hope they hit in the playoffs. Josh, I know you love the Jazzman though. Matthew says, now the Mets, Tony, I saw Blackburn. Was there anything else yesterday on like the major league level or not really?
I guess a little bit. I mean, they got Huascar Brazuban.
That was
from
the one.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. I've never heard of him, but he's 33. I don't know if he was pitching like in a different league and then came over.
Is he 30? I thought he was a little bit younger.
No, I
he's
looked it up
33.
yesterday, yeah.
I guess it seems like he was in their minor league system for a while. They got Tyler Zuber as well from the Rays. He's someone who's also 30 years old. I don't know. He's a starting pitcher. He's a reliever. And then Blackburn, the starting pitcher. I'm not really sold on any of these guys.
No,
to be
Blackburn
honest.
is batting practice.
I mean,
really,
I think he has a career 4 or 5 ERA.
That's what his ERA is,
and
this
that's
year.
what it is this year, exactly. And he's 30 years old.
Yeah,
he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just like what, like I don't know. Like I understand maybe you have guys now. You didn't give up anything for these guys. Maybe for Zuber, you gave up this guy. Paul Gervais, who is like this 6'10" pitcher, but all these like prospects that you did give up, because you gave up younger guys for all these guys. They're all outside the top 20 prospect lists, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. You kind of just said it before, where it's like if you're doing moves like this, you're almost better off just kind of trying to go with the guys you have.
Exactly.
And again,
but 40-man roster crunch, maybe that was went into it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I was talking to Zach before the show. I mean, you look at their entire, I guess their recent pickups. I mean, obviously Phil, we talked about yesterday a little bit, come over from Tampa Bay. Stack has been around a little bit. Jesse Winker, we know for a few games now. But then they add these 3 pitchers, which I guess, you're adding pitchers to your roster, but you're giving up, younger, middling prospect pitchers for older pitchers that are probably not going to really be around this year. I don't understand. They said that, Zuber is like a pitch right now type of guy, which obviously your bullpen needs relief right now. But again, like where are we going with these guys? I just really don't understand some of these guys that we gave up. I understand, like I mentioned Gervais, we gave out I think Cade Morris was for Blackburn, 24 prospective pitcher. Tyler Stewart, I believe, was involved in the Huascar trade. Mm-hmm. So again, like guys outside the top 20, like I said, but I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, I feel like they should have done one extreme or the other for this team. It should have been like, you're going to go all in to get better guys, or you're going to sell. Right. Because like, Zach and I were talking about before the show, it's like you have, young talent, you have Alvarez, you have Vientos, guys that have been playing every day, that have kind of been establishing themselves to complement Lindor and Nimmo, like you have those guys. So it's like, why wouldn't you try and build around those guys right now?
Right.
Rather than take your chance this year, lose all the trade value next year, maybe even re-sign some of these guys that you had this year that probably aren't going to do as well next year, and then end up wasting another year of Vientos and Alvarez as they've kind of are establishing themselves.
Iglesias you could have traded.
That's
who
what I mean.
Started to taper too.
Yeah, I mean, even Severino too, who's starting to taper his last 7 games a little bit. Like, but that guy is still going to have value for teams. And honestly, not for nothing, I feel like there wasn't really any crazy trades.
No.
Like there wasn't any like big, like Blake Snell didn't go anywhere.
No.
Like
Garrett Crochet,
like all these guys didn't go anywhere, So it's like the market was probably there for these guys that were doing well right now. Even offensive players, there wasn't any huge moves that teams did. A lot of teams kind of stayed put, which is kind of crazy to me. Because I just feel like at how competitive everything is, I just thought maybe someone would have made a big trade for, a better player at a lower level team. But nonetheless, I think that was a time for the Mets to be like, hey, we're selling these guys, and we'll probably have the market to get good pieces for them. So it's just very odd, dude. It's a very odd move by Stearns. I think he kind of did like this, he was just, I guess he limped his way through this deadline. And when you think of the Mets, previous years, I understand Stearns hasn't been around a while for these deadlines, but you think of the disappointment, the previous years of the deadlines, the Mets have had huge disappointing deadlines the past couple of years. And I think this was an opportunity for Stearns to really put his foot down and pivot the Mets in a direction that at least could be decisive and be like, oh, okay, like you're laying this down. I can follow this road that you're laying down. Like I see the map, what you got going on and where you're trying to go. But instead, we're going to take our chances in a wild card series. Like, I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. What he was doing with these guys. I understand, Winker, okay, whatever. But I mean, give me a break, dude. Like we're trading Winker for Stewart. Like that's not that much of a crazy impact. And not to mention, you didn't add anyone else to your lineup. And the lineup honestly isn't even my worry. It is the pitchers. It's the rotation. It's the bullpen. And you did Ungats.
Honestly, and you would have been better off not doing anything. Yeah.
And honestly, dude, like you gave up younger pitchers. Just throw them up. Let's throw them out there, dude. Like I really don't care.
Is Blackburn, is he a rental too? Is he only? He's a veteran. He's been around a while. I doubt
must be on a 1-year deal, dude. There's no freaking way. Hold on. He is signed through 2024. So 1 year.
Yeah.
$3.5 million.
30 years old.
30 years old.
Batting practice pitcher.
I mean, from Oakland too. I mean, again, like, do they not look at the organizations in which they're getting these guys from?
Yeah.
Like these guys don't have good players.
No.
All right. You picked the wrong pitcher on Oakland. That's for sure to go after.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. And this guy's a starter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they want him in the bullpen. Maybe
they're going to have to, because he's not a fucking rotation guy.
Yeah.
I'd rather try out Peterson at this point,
Yeah. No. And
so it's weird, dude.
His one season where he had an ERA sub 4 was his rookie year where he made 10 starts.
When was that? 2017?
That was 2017.
Yeah.
And his last 3, 4.41, 4.43, 4.28. You know, I mean, 4.41 with a whip of 1.15. I mean, the whip,
Right.
I guess, isn't bad, but still.
Still.
It just what are you getting excited about there? You're not.
Nothing. You're not excited about anything, dude.
Yeah.
You just, I guess, I don't know, dude. I just don't know.
Josh B dying laughing about trading Iglesias, which is kind of funny because I did pick him up. I just dropped him in one of my fantasy leagues. Had the hot stretch. I mean, I'm sure the averages, so they haven't been playing him as much, I think, because of McNeil hitting.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, a week ago, I really think you could have traded him. But I think there was like that attachment thing. Well, the team's playing well. He's had some big hits. We don't want to deal.
And again, like now McNeil's doing well. You got Winker. He's not even playing.
He's not playing. Yeah.
So what are we doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like it's not even like I could say, oh, put him at second base. You can throw McNeil in the outfield because you're playing Winker now, almost like for ever since he's been on the team, basically.
Right.
So it's like what are we trying to do? And then at some point, Marte's gonna be back healthy. So then you have kind of some depth in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, obviously, you're going to be playing McNeil because he's hitting well. So Iglesias, like, I mean, you're not going to take Vientos at a third. That's for sure. You can't move him to DH because JD, So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's like you made the wrong move even on the offensive side of things.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I just don't get it.
And what do you think about, the Orioles, Trevor Rogers, Eloy Jimenez? I mean, those guys haven't been having great years, have been really trending downward after having, a lot of hype. I mean, and giving up a lot for Trevor Rogers.
Yeah, surprised.
I don't think they had a good deadline. I don't know. I just think it's really stretching it. Like, it's like, instead of getting 6 guys that are like mediocre, why not get like 1 or 2 guys that are really good? Right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I kind of like the Eloy Jimenez.
But you look at his name, I mean, terribly. And I've always liked him. I've always liked him too. But I could see him maybe coming to Baltimore and be like, hey, maybe a little resurgence there. Rogers, I don't know. They gave up Norby and Stowers,
which is kind of crazy. I mean, I understand Rogers was touted first round, I think 13th overall to Miami. But you want to look at his numbers with Miami in the majors. I mean, they're not great, dude. I mean, he had one good year in 2021.
Yeah.
Full season of starts, 2.64 ERA, 133 innings pitched, killed it, 157 strikeouts. Almost got Rookie of the Year that year, I believe, because that was like his first full season. Was an All-Star. That was his rookie year 3 years ago. Hasn't really done anything great since. Followed it up sophomore year in a slump. Same amount of starts, pitched the whole year, almost a 6 ERA. Basically doubling, honestly, his ERA from his rookie to a sophomore year, which we've seen happen. And you think, all right, sophomore slump, whatever. Comes back 2023. I think had some injuries, barely starts if I remember correctly, and then this year has an ERA above 4, I think. So it's like maybe you can get him back to what he was his rookie year. Maybe you see something out of him, but you gave up an awful lot, and I think it's a little bit of a stretch to expect him to have those numbers, especially when you're getting to be Baltimore in October, where games matter and there's high pressure situations. I don't know if this kid's going to be able to perform in that scenario.
And then how about instead of getting him and Zach Eflin, how about just get Garrett Crochet? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do that. Believe me. But I'm just saying, doesn't seem like the best strategy. That's just kind of my
especially
thoughts.
because, again, like Rogers is cool because it's like he could be good. He's 26. He has a few years left, but you need someone who's really good right now. Like,
and
this
you're
is
giving
it.
up
This is your
these highly
year.
touted guys. I know you have a lot of guys, but you get to a point where then you start giving up a bunch of guys, and then you don't have anything.
I'm going to say exactly. They're kind of misusing. I think that maybe they're thinking they have too many prospects for their own good. Let's just make some moves to get anybody. But in reality, I don't know. It kind of could be a bad move. Eloy, I think he'll have a bounce back, honestly, with the Orioles.
Yeah, but it might. I mean, you really think it's gonna be anything crazy, or you think it's just gonna like 240, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, and has only played in 65 games because of abductor hamstring injuries.
Yeah,
obviously injury prone, tons of power.
Yeah.
Is it just one of those things you're like, well, if he stays healthy, he might hit a bunch of home runs.
Yeah, I think so. And I feel like he's the type of guy too who thrives on your team doing well. When the White Sox were doing well a few years ago, he was a big part of it.
Right.
And I think that's the atmosphere he needs, and that's what the Orioles are going to bring. So, I mean, I think with the Orioles the rest of the year, I mean, he could be batting, maybe like a 270 average with the Orioles, hitting maybe 12 to 15 dingers with them. It's there. Again, to give up what you gave up for him could be kind of a stretch. But I mean, that's what happens at the deadline here. You tend to overpay for certain players, just like in free agency or whatever. But it's just interesting. I mean, all these moves by all these teams are very odd to me.
Yeah, and I guess they really didn't give up much here. I guess the White Sox aren't eating much of the contract, and they just traded Trey McGow back the Orioles. So it doesn't seem like they got much for there because I guess his salary had signed an extension.
Oh, so they're taking over his salary basically. So the White Sox are just out of that contract. Oh,
yeah. So
I mean, I guess good for the White Sox, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, given where they are, of course. And then we kind of touched on it, but what was your thoughts with Flaherty? I mean, do you think that'll work with the Dodgers, or you think it's kind of a risk given he's pitched well this year, but we mentioned the back injuries that almost completely traded the Yankees, and his struggles really, I mean, most of the last few seasons has had some promise here and there, but not really a lot of consistency other than this year. Giving up a lot as well.
Listen, I think he's a good pitcher, and I think if he does stay healthy, he will pitch well, like he has been doing this year so far. But I mean, you think of the Dodgers, and like I feel like they're synonymous with pitchers on the long-term injured list.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't imagine he's going to be healthy with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work.
Again, yeah. It just seems like, oh, well, that's what we could get, so we'll do it. It just feels like it's like you either get the big fish, or you don't sell for like a Frankie Montas,
right,
who was moved. I forgot who even picked him up.
No.
Was it? It might have been Cleveland, actually.
I'm trying to remember. Let's see. If you to guess, who was it? Don't look it up.
No, sorry. Bruce.
Bruce.
But, yeah. So, I mean, he's had a 5-year ERA this year, too. And, last time out, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 4 runs. So, yeah. Kind of an interesting deadline, but at the end of the day, I'm good with what the Yankees did, and obviously they backed it up on the diamond last night. What a game! What an exciting game! Saw the whole thing start to finish here, 7-6, final in 12 innings, Tony. And to have this type of performance, moments notice, Will Warren, Tony, making his major league debut, filling in for Cole, the stomach bug, all of that, gives him 5 1/3. Does give up the 4 runs, but 3 of those on a 3-run homer by Austin Hayes. So really, when it comes down to it, for the most part, 1 mistake, walked 2, struck out 6 through 97 pitches. I thought he looked great. His slider had a lot of bite, a lot of life on the fastball. I think you'll have enough starting pitching where you're not going to need him in your rotation. But, I mean, it looks like, why is he not already in the bullpen? I know really tough start in the minors, but as recently has pitched well. I think there was something where it was like 7 out of his last 8 starts, he had allowed 3 runs or less in the minors. So overall, I think he did a good job despite, 4 runs over 5 1/3. That wasn't what you're looking for. Seems like it was 1 mistake, had no notice. And I like the stuff. The stuff should play in the bullpen. So I hope we see him in the bullpen. Aaron Nola on the other side did a pretty good job. I mean, let up 7 hits, but 2 runs allowed, 3 walks, 4 Ks, and the 1 home run allowed. In terms of scoring, first inning, Jazz gets the Yankees' first run of the game in on a fielder's choice. So that made it 1-0. Bohm with a double to score Kyle Schwarber in the bottom half of the inning, tied the game at 1. We mentioned the 3-run homer. Hayes, second inning, made it 4-1. Warren settles down. Pitches into that 6th inning. Jake Cousins comes in to relieve him. And then Jazz Chisholm, Tony, not 1 but 2 home runs, 1 in the 6th and then the 1 in the 7th. So the 1 in the 6th makes it 4-2. And that was off of Strahm, who's had a great year, made the All-Star team, but gives up that bomb and then hits a 3-run homer in the 7th there. And really, just changes the feel of this game, gives the Yankees the lead, which they held on till the 9th. The bullpen did a good job in terms of Jake Cousins, Tommy Kahnle, and Luke Weaver, all pitching well, all pitching, efficiently. Jake Cousins only throwing 8 pitches over 2/3 of an inning. Kahnle, 12 pitches for 1 inning. Weaver, 7 pitches for 1 inning. But of who else? Clay Holmes, in the 9th inning, running into some trouble. And, there was, a ball, a lot of tappers. I get that. But he also, did have a walk there. And then they scored the run on a wild pitch. And then an absolutely insane play. I'm sure you've seen the highlights of it now. But for the final out of the 9th inning, ground ball, an absolute screamer to DJ. I've never seen this happen all my years watching baseball. Never seen this happen. Ricochets high up in the air behind DJ. Somehow Gleyber Torres, who's never where he's supposed to be, never in the right position, right there to make the play. Clay darting over to first, and they just get Bryce Harper for the final out of the inning. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that happens. And then the fact too, ghost runners. You're not expecting the game to go 3 extra innings, but that's exactly what happens. Mark Leiter gives you a scoreless inning, which you really needed there in the 10th. After Clay, had run into trouble. Esteves does the job Hoffman does the job for the Phillies. But then in the 11th inning, Yankees get a Verdugo sac fly. Verdugo's really looked a lot better with hitting, I think, 380 over his last 10. But that made it 6-5. But Mike Tonkin, wild pitch, moves a runner up. Austin Hayes with an RBI single, tying the game at 6. But then in the top of the 12th, Yankees get a Gleyber Torres sac fly. It turns out being into a double play, but I think it was almost on purpose where Jazz Chisholm baits the throw to be cut off instead of to home plate, which it seemed like there was some type of possibility that Austin Wells could have got thrown out. He doesn't. And then Tonkin's able to survive the bottom half of the 12th inning, and the Yankees win 7-6, 4th straight game. And then win their 2nd straight series, something they haven't done in a while. 64 up, 45 down, and an outstanding 37-22 away from Yankee Stadium. We talked about Jazz, first Yankee to have 4 home runs in his first 3 games, 3 for 6 with 5 RBIs in this game. Judge was 3 for 4. And then you look at the starting lineup here, everybody with a hit other than Grisham, Wells, and Torres. Jazz making the impact. I mean, it just at the end of the day, just really seems like he's really changed the feel of this team since being acquired from the Marlins.
Yeah, it does seem like that. You can't argue that. 21 runs in the past 2 games. Obviously, a dramatic, extra inning win. I'll say it again, against one of the better teams in the league, arguably the best, at 65-42 here. And of course, again, Aaron Nola, someone who is like a lock for 6-7 innings. You make him go 5 2/3,
7 hits,
trouble, 7 hits, 2 earned runs,
making him work.
Only 4 Ks. Yeah. You make exactly like clearly. You're facing Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, great pitchers around the league, and they're having a very tough time navigating this new lineup now. With Jazz, even with Stanton in there. I know he was a pinch hit last night, but nonetheless, you mentioned people are hitting well. Rice, Wells, Volpe too now. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's tough for any pitcher to try and navigate this. Jazz Chisholm had a phenomenal night again, 3 for 6, 2 runs, I think 5 RBIs, right? Had 2 home runs. Like crazy game from him. It is going to be interesting to see, again, like you want to talk about, a pace that's not exactly sustainable. It should be interesting to see when he does kind of settle in now, like what he's going to look like in this lineup and stuff like that. But obviously right now he's bringing that electricity that exactly this lineup needs. And it's showing. Top half of your lineup too dominated.
Yeah.
First few guys, Verdugo, Soto, all with hits, important hits as well. Judge 3 for 4. It's great. And then after that, that's when you have Jazz come up, so it really is tough lineup. Volpe is still at the bottom half of your lineup, hitting well,
It seems like he hits well at 9 for whatever reason, but that's fine.
So exactly. It's totally fine. Because again, it just spreads out some of these guys a little bit better. So again, that's why you're seeing some of these great pitchers not going deep into games right now against the Yankees, because everyone is hitting. So it's great. And, you mentioned, the debut by Warren, that the sinker, sweeper, fastball. He's got good pitches. The stuff is there. I love when I see like a sinker at 94 and your fastball at 94, because that's just so tough.
Yeah, then drop the hook on.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And for a batter to try and recognize the difference between those 2 pitches, it's so hard to do that, dude. A couple mistakes. Again, that the homer, the double by Bohm, whatever.
Yeah.
It's 2 hits where you made a little bit of a mistake. Sinker didn't sink, sweeper didn't sweep. that's going to happen. Like you said, short notice, this kid debut. I don't know where he's been in the minors exactly.
AAA.
But I mean, hey, this guy could be someone you could use, like you said, in your bullpen or
multi-inning
exactly,
bullpen.
dude. So
you have to. We need that. He could really end up being high leverage.
I mean, he just pitched against a great lineup, like in the Phillies. Again, like that's not like this is one of the better teams here in a big spot. You would have thought that the guy would have been, could have been 3 innings, 5 earned runs or something like that, and obviously your bullpen coming in for the most part, locking it down here, obviously. So it was a gritty, gutsy win by the Yankees. And again, 12 innings too. They really hung in there. In Philly too. I mean,
and some great defensive plays. Did you see the sliding catch by Grisham? I think in the 11th, saved the whole game. For sure, I was like, no, a sinking liner, but
classic.
He got a great jump on it, the slide, and this is coming off of the inning before. Looked like he almost crashed right into, I guess, Alex Verdugo. Yeah, Alex Verdugo in left. So it was just such an exciting game. Really had that playoff feel to it. Brian Anderson and Ron Darling, Tony, on the call. I don't know if you realize that. And it was funny when I was watching. I was thinking, geez, it's a shame that Gary and Keith bring down Ron because he's a great announcer. So sounded backhanded, but it's a compliment to Mr. Darling. And he is great. He does know his stuff. Did you come across him at the network or no?
No, never.
No, didn't. Okay.
I do love Ron though.
I mean,
he's phenomenal.
Could you argue that he's the best of the 3 though? I know obviously Gary's play a little different.
Yeah, it is a little different. I do like him better than Keith. I mean, they do a lot of games together as well. It's Ron and Gary a lot. And again, that guy, he's always there. He never misses a beat. It's great.
And he's always into it.
Exactly. I feel like. He's always into it. And he always knows so much about minor league players too, like coming up, and he knows all their stories. It's really tremendous. You can tell this guy just obviously loves what he does. Yeah. Because how do you not, first of all? But he does compliment the best booth in baseball. Yeah. I mean, it's been rated. It was rated again this year. Whoever does it, it was SNY #1. I think Yes Network was like outside the top 20, I think.
That's such a joke.
It was 22, I think.
We'll get Michael K on the show. I would love to see you
because he knows the rankings. And come on, the rankings
fake
are there.
Rankings.
You can't argue. Are they fake?
I don't know.
Come on,
whatever. We could go on forever. We don't need to do
outside
that.
the top 20.
We just know the Mets. Oh my God.
Number 1
broadcast.
Number 1.
Keith and Gary just kill it. I'm sorry. They're definitely not number 1.
They are number 1 though.
They're definitely not.
Number 1.
They're just not. So you can keep saying it, but they're not.
It's written on paper.
So anyway, believe it or not, it's going to be about an hour and 18 minutes. I guess figure a couple extra minutes. They always do that with official start times. But Yankees and Phillies are going to play the final game of this series. So the Yankees going for the sweep here. And you're going to have a pitching matchup of Nestor Cortez and Christopher Sanchez. Haven't heard much about Sanchez. I don't know if he pitched against the Mets at all, Tony. Numbers are good, though. 7-6, 3.05. Not a strikeout guy, 91 in 115 innings. Only 3 homers allowed in 115 innings, which is pretty impressive. Going at Nestor, has struggled recently, 4.13 ERA. So I'm talking about trading him. He sticks with the team. Maybe that'll fire him up. Who knows? Anything on Sanchez? Have you seen him before?
Yeah, a few times. I mean, I feel like he's okay. I think he's very hittable, though. I mean, obviously this year doing
16 hits his last 2 starts.
But I mean, I was gonna say, I think as of recently, taper second half, so he could be kind of digging himself into that hole, second half taper. But we'll see.
Yeah. Looking forward to that game this afternoon. The Mets also in the winner's circle last night, 2-0 over the Minnesota Twins in a game where Sean Manaea had the elusive 11 strikeouts.
That's right, Brian. I mean, it's not even arguable. This was his greatest start of the year. Greatest start certainly as a Met that I've seen. 7 innings, only 2 hits, 11 Ks, no earned runs. Pretty efficient as well. 96 pitches thrown over those 7 innings, which I mean, for someone like Manaea, who isn't always that efficient, normally is like almost at into 100 pitches going into the 6th inning. To see that from him has been phenomenal. Obviously, not a ton of scoring.
Only 5 hits.
Only 5 hits. Mets
Twins only had 2.
Win this game 2-0. Twins get shut out here because of Manaea, because of a great bullpen.
Ryan Stanek.
Stanek was on the mound coming in after Manaea, and you notice in the box score only 2 outs he gets.
1 walk.
1 walk, dude. Does solid job in keeping things in the park. Did get screwed over a little bit by Alonso. I mean, I guess you could argue that. I think this was early on. Maybe there was one out in the inning. Like a chopper right to, I guess it was a hard hit ball, though, to Alonso. But nonetheless, Alonso feels it well. Stanek comes over, covers first. Alonso, I don't know if you saw this, does like this underhanded throw over the head of Stanek. Stanek looks like he broke his ankle almost because he jumps up to grab it, lands on the bag, falls over. Obviously, runner safe, then walks the next batter. So runners on first and second. I guess he did get 2 outs at that point, maybe. I don't know if he maybe struck out someone else after that. I don't remember. But then they bring in Diaz, forced to get 4 outs, you know. Does, though. Gets him out of the jam. 2 runners on, 2-run game here. I think he struck out Max Kepler, I think maybe to end that inning. And then comes in the 9th, solid there. I think strikes out Byron Buxton to end the game or whatever. Or at least that was one of his Ks in the 9th. So Diaz looking great. Diaz, by the way, I don't see this very often, but the high slider. Yeah, it was a high inside slider, seemed what he was going for last night, which was pretty cool, I thought. So, I mean, Diaz looked great. Obviously came in, gets his save here, the 13th. Minaya gets the win. Love that. And then in terms of the offense, it came, middle of the game here, bottom of the 4th. Martinez RBI single to score Nimmo. Obviously, Nimmo's been on base, obviously a lot here. Vientos, I mentioned early on, got his 15th home run yesterday. Solo shot that made it 2-0. And obviously that was all the scoring we had. Tremendous, pitching outing there for Minaya, which is exactly what you want to see, obviously. If there's one thing we talked about at this deadline so far, bats have been good. Pitching has suffered. Minaya in here. There's not many games, I feel like, that the Mets play where you see 3 pitchers on the box score. Normally it's like 5.
Right.
But nonetheless, dude, you gotta, be excited for this win. Just like the Yankees winning another series here as we have game 3 tonight, today, like you mentioned.
Starting lineup's out.
Starting lineup is out. Haven't checked it yet.
Alvarez back in.
Thank
Jose
God.
Iglesias back in.
Second base,
well.
McNeil at right, or
I think McNeil might have been out of the lineup.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I understand, a lot of people didn't hit last night, including McNeil, who was 0 for 2, but still, I probably would have kept him in there. I don't like, why is Winker starting again? Like, I feel
he's not starting.
Oh, he's not starting.
Yeah, because I have him for fantasy. It's just said he's on the bench.
Oh, so it must be McNeil. Right.
I gotta just look it up. I had it up before, but you know what it was? So I'm sure you could crack up. Like I was just looking at. No, I was looking at who was pitching, and I saw, the lineup's out. Looked at it for a second, and I was like, oh wait, the Yankees game starts first. I gotta see what their lineup looks like.
You freaking idiot.
So I didn't closely study it, but I have it in front of me. And McNeil is playing in right
field. Thank God for that, dude.
Yeah, and then Taylor in center.
You mean Taylor's playing center?
Yes,
wow.
yeah,
okay, so Bader sitting.
Bader's sitting. Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, that's fine, I guess. I mean, 3rd game here, whatever. Need the win. We'll get it anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mentioned Sevy. I think his ERA his last few starts is not great. We know about his kerfuffle against the Pirates, but I would say one-off thing. Obviously, Twins got shut out last night. I think Sevy can come in here and gets maybe 11 strikeouts. But I guess we'll see what happens.
That would be a season high, a Met high for him.
They would be.
So we'll see if he can get the job done here, and we will find out in an abbreviated, full-on baseball frenzy.
That's right, people. You don't have to wait long to find out if Sevy will do well tonight, because I'm telling you right freaking now, we mentioned 3rd game of the series, Mets going for the sweep. Over-under is 8.5. Pretty interesting here. We know 1st game over, 2nd game under. What's going to happen 3rd game? Obviously, Mets favored it here, -105 on the money line. Pablo Lopez, I guess, pitching good as of the All-Star break regardless. 4.73 ERA on the year. Not great. We know the Twins' bats have not been good this series. They've only scored 2 runs the past 2 games against the Mets. I would anticipate something like that again tonight. Maybe the Mets have activated some of their, trade deadline acquisitions. We could see them today. Who knows? But regardless, I would imagine Sevy gets the job done. 7 innings, 11 Ks, 2 earned runs. I'll give the Twins that. But nonetheless, Alvarez back in the lineup, resting that shoulder. I think it's time for him to pop off a little bit. I think it's been a little while since we've seen a home run. Just go for a dinger from him. Maybe a 2 for 4 night with another 2 RBI double as well. He scores 4 runs as a Met tonight. And then, I don't know, maybe McNeil, who gets riled in right field, makes a couple nice plays, hits a few RBIs, a few hits as well. Give me the Mets win this game. I'm going to say 6-3, which would be Mets and just the over, Brian.
All right, I will take the Yankees and the over here. Nestor versus Sanchez. Yankee bats have been hot, now up to 47 runs over their last 5 games, so averaging in that span over 9 runs a game. I think they will be swinging the bat this afternoon very well here, so I think Nestor will battle, probably give them 6 innings, 3 earned runs, maybe striking out 8. And I think Sanchez gives the Phillies 5, but gives up 5. At the end of the day, Yankee bullpen pieces it together, wins this game. I'm going to say by the score of 7-5. So it's the Yankees, and it's the over, and it's a sweep in the city of brotherly love.
Back-to-back New York sweeps. Let's freaking go here. Next pick here, I think I'm going to go with the Astros here, looking to avoid the sweep actually against Pittsburgh. You have Jacob Woodford over there on the mound, 0-2 in the year, hasn't pitched a ton, only 8 innings, probably I guess the 2 outings he had for the Pirates, a 10 ERA there. I think Pittsburgh could be in trouble here on this 3rd game. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Astros, avoiding the sweep. Framber Valdez on the mound, over under is 8.5. I think Astros honestly absolutely pop Jake Woodford here. Give me the Astros win this game. I'm going to say 8-1. So Astros and the over, baby. Let's go.
All right.
Game 2 for Brian.
Game up here. I am going to go with the pitching matchup. This may come as a surprise. Probably one of those where, what were you doing? But give me the White Sox. Are they still on that losing streak?
Is it Thorpe?
Is it 15 games?
Is it 15 now?
I think they've been stuck on 27 wins for a while. Anyway, Thorpe in after I think getting 4 outs, giving up 8 runs. His ERA went from low 3s to almost 5. Know the talent he is. Brady Singer's been great for the Royals. Kind of due though for a start where he doesn't have it. I think it's just one of those things. You look at the -205 for Kansas City, +170 for the White Sox.
16-game losing streak.
16-game losing streak. Not going to hit 17. It's a 2-0 victory here for the Chicago White Sox. Thorpe, 7 scoreless, striking out a career 10. White Sox and the under.
That's honestly kind of a good call there. Let's see what we got here. Orioles, Blue Jays. I went with Orioles yesterday. I don't even know if they won yesterday, to be honest. They must have won yesterday. They did win yesterday. Grayson Rodriguez. I guess I'll go with them again. Why not? Let's go back-to-back birds. The Oriole birds, that is, not the Blue Jays. Blue Jays suck. They lose. They're about to get swept in this 4-game set. Oh, wait, no, Blue Jays did win 1. Never mind. They're about to drop 3 out of 4 to the Orioles. Grayson Rodriguez, 12-4 record. That's a tremendous record for him. Obviously, strikeout stuff is there. 122 Ks, over 110 innings pitched. Give me Rodriguez, a full game shutout, Brian. That's right, buddy. Orioles go on to win 4-0. Orioles and the under. What's up?
Next game, final game, Rays. Bradley versus Munoz. And I know the Rays, you trade Paredes, you trade Arozarena, you keep Yandy Diaz. And you still have some decent pitching. Bradley's been great. 6-4, 2.43. Munoz, 1-5, 5.61. Marlins, 39-68. Rays, 55-52. So I think this is another under. And I think the Rays will win this game, let's say 4-1. So it's the Rays and it's the under. And just like that, that is your baseball frenzy. And it was the Orioles with the under.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. See, just wanted to double check. But yeah, it should be an exciting afternoon and evening on the diamond once again. And a couple more comments here. Jimmy Butka saying, what a win by the Yankees. Jazz is him. Jay Bird saying Phillies, Mets, and Orioles. Again, one of those examples, kind of like Tony with his picks yesterday with the Red Sox winning. going with, the Phillies against the Yankees, the Mets and the Orioles. I mean, it's almost like he's doing it on purpose, Tony.
How was my record yesterday, though?
It's funny that you say that. Actually, could you assist me real quick, just so that we don't have to worry about this tomorrow?
Definitely could, dude.
Of course, right when I say that, I
lose the document.
But it's gonna come right back. But what was your guess? Did you kind of add it up, like just looking at it, or did you not really?
No, I didn't even look at it. If I had to guess,
I think I was bad, honestly, because I didn't hit the under with the Yankees.
I would say
21.
5-1, 4-2, 4-2 if I had to guess.
Mets in the over, so that's going to be 1-1. Red Sox in the over.
Red Sox, I know that they lost. So that's also 1-1, so it's 2-2.
And then Orioles in the under.
Orioles won. The under was, of course, it's 6-2, so it's like that.
3-3.
I want to say they were 8.5, dude. Why isn't it telling me? I hate it on the iPad. Doesn't really. Oh wait, 8.5. Yes. So
okay,
that's
so 4-2. Okay, so you get off to a nice start. Yankees under is 1-1. Dodgers in the over is also 1-1. So that's 2-2, and then the Astros with the over. Astros lost. Did it go over?
Of course, 6-2 game here. I want to say it was an 8.5.
2-4.
Let's see. Scrolling down. Why? Like, how is it not the first thing they show you? Honestly, dude,
should be at the bottom corner of the box score, no?
Yeah, you would think here. Oh no, it's only down 8.5, so it was the under. Astros in the under. You had?
I had the Astros and the over. So
it's 0-2.
2-2. Yep, 2-4. So, what are you gonna do though? Right?
Can't do much, dude.
I guess you could say can't win them all, but you can win some. That's what I always say.
I mean, hopefully, dude. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's so funny. I just saw on Twitter a couple of likes, mentions. Michael Theophil calling for Dan Grossa to call in and settle this with myself.
Really? I would. Yeah. Honestly, I think we can all sit down and have a nice conversation about it.
I don't think he can hit. Like he just.
I mean, I was kind of surprised. I would imagine it was he who hung up on you.
Yes.
Like not like any of the producers or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. You were starting to go though.
What do you mean?
Like you were, what are you talking about?
No, wait, because he didn't answer the question that he said that Cole was not going to be counted on because he's missing it because of having the stomach virus. And then he tried talking about, oh, well, how does Lesko Starks? And I said, Lesko Starks, he's barely pitched this year. And he didn't really respond to that. And it seemed like because he just didn't want to, because he didn't have a good answer. I mean, am I missing something there, Tony?
You're not missing anything, I don't think, dude.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of seem like that. He just didn't know.
You know what? I think next ESPN event, I think we'll talk.
Oh yeah, going by math, the Yankees aren't going to make the World Series again this year, and it's like you have no idea. It's not. It's August is just starting. What are you talking about,
Brian? Thanks for the phone call.
Yeah, that was a good answer, right?
Thanks for the phone call.
Yeah, thanks for the phone call. What an answer. What I was going to say, though, next ESPN event, I think I'm going to just Rick maybe will give me something in this. For some reason, it feels like, I don't know, that Dave would like talk to him more. I don't know. That's just the sense that I get. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to mention it to both of them and just say, can we like set something up here? I feel like Dave will crack up when I ask him about that.
Yeah, I think so too. Can we dude, honestly, that's a great idea. I feel like Dave would love that idea, dude. If you talk to him about it, I think he would try to make it happen.
Or maybe next time I should just call him when he's working.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to, because I think he knows that it's like, because I don't know, obviously the two call-ins, I'm kind of like getting a little like animated and stuff. Like it seems like, I don't know, just that it's not. But again, you know what? It's a radio show. Everything can't be warm and fluffy.
Right.
And Grossa just doesn't like to take accountability at the end of the day.
I want to say, I mean, it's him and Rick all week, and then next week it's Grossa and Dave. So I guess you can call in on Monday.
Yeah. I think I might have to.
Dude.
I might have to.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens though, right?
Mm-hmm. You think they'll put you on? Do you say you're from downtime or anything?
So I think so. What happened? So I tried
to
do that last time.
They introed you from Stanford. They said
I tried doing that last time.
Yep.
And then RG keeps on downtime. Where's that? And then I was just saying, oh, I'm from Stanford. We're down. But I think they have it set where they want to say like the city.
Okay, yeah, they have to.
So then the last time though, I did mention, Dave, I've interviewed you before or whatever,
Right.
and he's like, oh yeah, what's going on? And Timo, Tyler Mulcahy, who was texting me earlier, said you sounded tight, and it looks like, is this like a shot, like we're at the horseshoe kind of, or no? No, I was thinking it says
like
$2 next to the comment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't see it on your end?
No, I'm not watching this. I don't see the stream in front of me.
But I think that's what it is, unless I'm mistaken here.
Like he gave us $2.
I don't know.
I think it's a don't know.
I think it is.
Oh, I think so too, dude.
So obviously,
thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. We go way back, and I've talked to you about this many times about how
you sounded tight.
We always got a kick out of saying that.
That's
but
hilarious.
he's basically why I'm here. If you really think about it, because the dots were connected. Him knowing Matt, me knowing you guys. So just kind of crazy how that works out. Comes full circle. But growing up, we honestly, at one point, Tony, for years, probably averaged playing basketball outside 4 times a week.
That's awesome.
For hours. Double bounce, horse, one-on-one. Right. Insane.
Eyes closed.
No, there were no eyes closed at that time. But I think the pool a little different, maybe.
True.
But yeah, so it's been a little bit. Hopefully, he's in Sarasota. So it'd be great to visit down there. Maybe fall, winter time. We'll try to figure something out.
Yeah,
would be great.
Sarasota.
So good to hear from Tyler. And then Josh B says, if the Yankees start losing again, B, it's all your fault.
Wow.
There's no jinx. Josh, you're better than that. You're smarter than that. And he knows it too. He's chuckling. Probably half of a joke, half not.
I think it's not a joke at all, dude.
Superstitions aren't real. I mean, we could talk about it till the cows come home, Tony.
I think Josh is dead serious.
No, but I'm just saying to you. I mean, we've had this conversation many times.
Yeah.
There's no superstition. You play well, you do. You win, you do. Right. You don't. There's nothing else that comes in between that.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. Last question for you on the way out. I think you wanted to see either nothing or a lot more yesterday. All of that being said, I mean, how do you feel here now? Trade deadline's over. What your team looks like. I mean, what are you anticipating to see here the rest of the way?
I still anticipate. I mean, again, it's just very similar team, minor improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I still expect to see a wild card series out of them.
What do you, if you had to say down the stretch to secure that wild card spot, and I know both play into it, of course, but for that to happen, like, what do you think you'll need to see better out of down the stretch, the pitching or the hitting?
I think to get to the wild card series, we're going to have to rely on our hitting. I mean, that's just what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would love to see our starters consistently go 7 and not give up many runs and have a great ERA. And our bullpen to lock it down. I'd love to see these new guys come in who are veterans, by the way, to lock down this bullpen. But at the end of the day, I know there's going to be blow up spots. There's going to be probably 1-run games where we do blow it or whatever. We're going to have to have offense. Like, we can't have any nights where people go hitless, I think that these, 2-0 wins against the Twins are going to be few and far between.
Right.
The Mets are going to have to rely on their bats.
Yeah. So let's see what happens there. But definitely, an exciting point in the baseball season. Tomorrow is August. Believe it or not, Tony.
I can't believe it.
One other Graca-ism, by the way, on the way out, said that Soto, where he signs, doesn't necessarily depend on the winning situation because he's not. How ridiculous is this? He's not that hungry to win because he won his one World Series 5 years ago. Is that one of the most ridiculous things that you've ever heard?
I mean, a little bit, dude. Yeah. I mean, why is he
Someone
here?
was saying Cole actually called in. They made fun of for smelling and stuff.
Yeah.
He called in and he was like saying something like, "Oh, so you think like the Angels offer him $700 million, he's gonna go there?" And then they tried like saying about like pool holes and stuff, but there's no way he's not going. Like, that's like saying, "Oh yeah, he'll sign with the White Sox, he'll sign with the A." He's not doing that.
He's
that's a crazy thing to say.
And it is kind of crazy. I still think that it's going to be very hard to get him out of the Yankees organization now.
Yeah.
Even with people matching Yankees deals and stuff like that. Maybe. I mean, listen, you never know what's going to happen. Who can offer what? But and there's multiple organizations that could offer him a lot of money and that are competitive. So you never really know. But to say that he doesn't like he isn't as competitive because of his World Series with the Nationals
5 years ago.
5
years
years
like
ago,
20 years ago.
On a crazy Cinderella run they went on too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way, dude. I mean, I understand he was super young. It was great for him at that age. Obviously, established himself in the league. He continues to like have that level of play. But I mean, the fact that he's still good means that he is committed to winning and working and perfecting his craft. I mean, look at him from when he was 19 in the league. Like, I mean, first of all, he was way smaller back then too. I don't know if people don't talk about that. He definitely bulked up. I mean, the guy is continually working on his game because he wants to win, dude. Like, that's crazy to say that, to question, especially he's a professional athlete. That's what he's supposed to do.
That's not important. It's just about money. Ridiculous.
That's crazy, dude.
Less than 50% chance that he resigns it, right? Like, that's what they're saying. And
why would he go to the Padres then when he did? Like, no way.
It's so bad, and there really needs to be more of a Yankee presence on that show. I mean, like I said, I think Dave, he has good takes. We get that. Rick gets a little anti-Yankee, but I just think that there needs to be more there. Just to kind of keep him in check, because he was kind of joining in with Dan this morning, and I just think he needs to be a little more on the level side of things. That's all. Okay, and you could say, "Oh, what? I'm not on the level side of things." Difference being when there's something good, I admit to it, and I think you act like that's not the case, but it is.
Sometimes I feel like it's not.
How though?
And I think the other day you were saying there's only 2 good batters in the lineup.
But you had to admit, like, even Iglesias, for instance, like he was getting like a full hero.
Right.
Like I'm telling you, like, he's gonna end the season. Numbers aren't gonna be good. He's gonna be gone. It's a flash in the pan. I feel like there's been a lot of that going on, and it's like I said, we know, yes, Alonso is capable of doing really good things. We know about Lindor, but it's not. There's a lot of guys that just aren't really that good, like Jeff McNeil. Like, you could get excited. We could look at the numbers, say that he's great,
excited.
But to think that he's going to just be red hot to end the season 2 months, kind of ridiculous.
I mean, he could be, dude. I mean, this guy did win the batting title, had an average above 300 and that's how he consistently played all year round, you know? That was a crazy year for him. And obviously it's different now. And you want to talk about the outside struggles that the Mets have had, you know, not even just from him. I mean, I think it's just a great time that he is producing. I mean, his splits for this month have got to be crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure, I think he's batting like 280 this month. Obviously multiple dingers. And that is like a level of play that we've seen McNeil have for an entire season once before. So I don't know. I mean, you want to be a little excited for that, but you know, I agree. I mean, you know, a lot of these guys, yes, are not, you know, they're not going to be year in, year out. Iglesias is not going to be batting 300 or even 280 next year, probably.
Right. Taylor's not part of the future.
No, he's not. But right now, these guys are doing well.
So yeah.
But, you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Wild card.
Yeah. I am looking forward to the end.
Do you think they're making the wild card? Honestly.
No.
So you think it's going to be Cardinals take the 3rd spot?
Well, let's just
because it's like I think Padres are in 2nd, Braves are in the 1st wild card spot, I believe, and then it's probably like Mets, Cardinals, Pirates in there.
Okay, right now it's Braves, Mets, Padres. Arizona's a half game back, so yeah, I think Braves, Padres are locks, and then I think it's going to be either Pittsburgh, St. Louis, or Arizona, who's been red hot all of a sudden.
I know, right? Arizona, but they're not going to. Come on, they're not going to be.
I mean, I think those teams, I know it seems like, yes,
second half
for me, but I think there's more juice with those teams, Tony.
I mean, again, you think of the Cardinals in their lineup. I mean, you would think talent, and yes, second half they could explode.
Pirates are a good story. They made some acquisitions yesterday.
I mean, they're about to sweep the Astros possibly.
IKF. There's excitement about Skeens. O'Neal Cruz has been on fire. So there's competition there. So I just think, I could see those teams grabbing.
But do you think the Mets are more of a complete team than the Pirates? Like, wouldn't you say that? Like, all around lineup, defense, even pitchers. I mean,
no, because look at Skeens. I mean, just right there. I mean, the Mets don't have somebody as good as Skeens.
No, but that's what I mean, though. But they don't, like, who's their second best pitcher?
I mean,
like, that's right. I think the rest of the rotation is kind of middling. You know,
they have somebody else.
They do have somebody else.
They have a lot of somebody else's.
Mitch Keller.
Keller's great.
He's on my fantasy team. He's solid. So start of the year, but come on.
Yeah, Keller's good. And then they trade for Martin Perez? Yeah, they traded.
They did.
Or no, did they trade him to the Pirates or Padres? I think they traded him to the Padres. Yeah, they traded him to the Padres. But Yeah, I mean, there are some rotation questions, but I think,
And
Keller
even-
and Skeens, that's a good combination.
Oh my God, yeah. Skeens. I mean, you can't deny that, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, going to be a great stretch run. Looking forward to it. But here we are with another great show today. And really appreciate everybody tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume. The merch at downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees! And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.